Now, PSG are just one game away from defending their Champions League title after beating Bayern Munich last night. Only one side stands in the way of greatness, and it's the Premier League leaders, Arsenal, chasing their own greatness as well. Let's speak to the French and European football journalist Julien Laurens about this Champions League final. Julien, good to see you. Pleasure to talk to you this afternoon. And you're the perfect person to talk to because you know these clubs so well, don't you? Let's start with PSG then. We all know that the attacking style is almost unparalleled, isn't it? But did they show last night that they could be the most complete side in Europe with their defensive qualities as well?
Yeah, I think you're right. Absolutely. We knew they probably had that in them, but we'd never really seen it to this extent. They did well when they were under pressure at Liverpool, if you remember, in that quarterfinal second leg at Anfield when Liverpool were pushing, and they actually defended really well their box. But to do it against Bayern in Munich as well, and to keep quiet Kane and Diaz and Olise, especially with a great tactical plan from Luis Enrique, I thought, in terms of doubling up on those wide areas, making sure that your midfield was really compact. If you have to play long, it's okay, but you can also go and man-mark them, press quite high, and put that intensity in. I thought it was a masterclass, really, defensively. That cohesion, the resilience, the team spirit was brilliant. On top of, as you said, in the first leg, all this kind of attacking power, Kvaratskhelia, Dembele, Doué, Joe Neves, Barcola off the bench, all of that, if you add the two of them, you're right, I think they are probably the most complete team in Europe right now.
Well, Arsenal know what it's like to face PSG because they got knocked out in the semi-finals last season, which was an intriguing tie in itself. But after this latest performance, a lot of people are asking today, what is Arsenal's best chance of beating PSG in this final?
I think they will have qualities to put against this PSG team, set pieces to start with. For example, even if Arsenal haven't been as clinical and efficient lately on those set pieces, they are still the best team in the world at it. And PSG are not very good at defending them, for example. Although Safonov is a bit better than Donnarumma in the air. So that could be one thing. I also think that there's not a better team out of possession than Arsenal, not even this PSG team. And that is very difficult to play against. And if there's a team that can slow down the tempo, kill the momentum, just control very much how quick or not the game is going, I think it's this Arsenal side, because they are so good at it. And I think Arsenal can do to PSG what PSG did to Bayern last night in a very similar way. So it won't be easy. I think PSG could be slight favourite because they won it last year and they have that kind of experience with them, which a lot of the Arsenal boys don't have, or Mikel Arteta doesn't have, compared to Luis Enrique. But I really think it's going to be a quite tight game.
I mean, when you look at the PSG side, there's a number of players you could pick out and say, well, look, Arsenal have got to keep this person quiet. They've got to keep this person quiet. One of them knows definitely Kvaratskhelia, if I can say his name properly. What do you reckon, Jules? Are we looking at a potential Ballon d'Or winner?
Yeah, it's a real shame that he's not going to go to the World Cup with Georgia. Not that Georgia would have won it, but at least he would have been there. And in a World Cup year, the World Cup always has an impact on those votes anyway. We all know that. But I think he's right now the best player in the world. I don't think there's anybody better than him. In those big games, he always shows up. We saw that in previous round of the Champions League, especially against English sides as well. And he did it again against Bayern. And it's not so much just the assist on the Dembele goal, but it's just everything. Like, you give him the ball and he doesn't lose it. He always makes the right decision, the right choice. He's so powerful. He's so good. You know, there's so many things about his game that I think is very hard to defend against. And without the ball, he just runs all the time and presses and defends all the time. And that's a huge quality to have. So, yeah, Kvaratskhelia, I think without that in the Ballon d'Or contender, especially if PSG go and win it, it's a shame, really, that he's not going to be at the World Cup.
Yeah. I mean, he's been a big part, hasn't he, of this PSG revival. And we often forget how different it was before. When Enrique took over, there were so many problems. So how has he managed to just completely change the direction of this club?
It's a change of culture, really, and that's quite a big similarity with Arsenal and Mikel Arteta and what Arteta did 6 years ago. It's only the third year for Luis Enrique. But that shift in terms of culture, in your own DNA, in your philosophies, on and off the pitch, everybody at the club, from the bottom to the top, everybody has to pull in the same direction. That was not the case before. It was a sum of individuals. We talked about it enough on the show before that. It's no surprise that the only two times where PSG didn't go into the semi-final of the Champions League or quarterfinals recently was when they had Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe, because that was not a team. It was just a sum of individuals. Yeah, great players on paper, some of the greatest in history, but it doesn't mean that it would make a team out of them. And Luis Enrique changed that. He didn't want Neymar there, didn't want Messi there. I think he would have probably kept Mbappe, but once Mbappe said, I want to go, he was very happy to let him go and build something without him, something more coherent, again, more as a team, more as a unit. And there's something very interesting that Luis Enrique said when Mbappe left. He said, when you have somebody like him, who is an amazing player, but does his own thing, move his own way on the pitch, you can't control anything. Now that he's gone, I can control everything I want with the team that I will put on the pitch. And that's exactly what he's doing. This team is so under control about everything, all those rotations, all those permutations. Is quite incredible to see what he's built without all those superstars and all those egos.
Speaking of Mbappe, we're going to get onto him in a moment, but I just want to ask you about Strasbourg as well, because Strasbourg fans were pretty unhappy, weren't they, when Chelsea swooped in for Liam Rosenior. But now they've got a chance of reaching a European final, and they're under the new manager, Gary O'Neill. So how's Gary settled in, and what are their chances, do you think, of getting to the final, maybe even going all the way?
Yeah, I mean, they've lost the first leg 1-0 in Vallecas in Madrid against Rayo Vallecano in a game where I think they were very happy to defend and see it out before the second leg in Strasbourg. Tonight, the atmosphere at La Meno is going to be incredible. I think Gary has done really, really well. They made a decision with the club and himself to almost sacrifice, I would say, the league, and they're 8th in the table, so it's not too bad at all. But they've been playing their B team for the last 3 or 4 games because they wanted to focus on the Conference League and on Europe and getting as far as possible. So they turn it around against Mainz in the quarterfinal in incredible fashion, in an amazing atmosphere, one of the greatest games in the club's history. They will have to do it again tonight and come back after that 1-0 defeat in the first leg. I think they can do it, even with a few players missing. Emmanuel Emega is not there, for example, but Barco is back, their best player, one of the best players in Ligue 1 this season in midfield. That's a huge boost for them. And then if they reach the final, and it could be Crystal Palace, who won 3-1 away against Shakhtar Donetsk in the first leg, that would be incredible for Bluco to face an English club in the final.
Yeah, it would actually, wouldn't it, when you think of it in those terms? Just before you go, I want to get your thoughts on Kylian Mbappe. I'm sure you've seen this petition from Real Madrid fans. Extraordinary petition, really, calling for the club to get rid of him. And it's reached over 30 million now, this petition. Could you have envisaged that things would turn this sour when he left PSG?
I'm not sure if this sour. I don't know how legit this petition is, and if really 30 million people actually signed it or not. I find it really harsh that because he went away with his girlfriend on his days off, by the way, in Sardinia, which I know you do a lot when you're on your day off from Sky. You go to Sardinia with your girlfriend. When the club allowed him to go. I don't see any problem in it. Yeah, okay, he probably should have come back a bit earlier and not missed the start of the league game at the Bernabeu, but I don't think he did anything wrong, really. He's been great for them on the pitch, 41 goals in 41 games. He got on really well with Xabi Alonso before. Was not too happy with the fact that Xabi Alonso was sacked, but he's Real Madrid's best player. And yes, they probably still need to find that cohesion that we talked about for PSG or Arsenal before, collectively, and sure, that's a bit of a challenge when you've got Vini and Kylian and Bellingham and all those great individual players, and how to make them play as a team. That won't be easy, but he's certainly not the scapegoat for what has gone wrong this season at Real Madrid.